Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Once there was a reindeer named Rudolph who lived at the North Pole in Toyland. Rudolph was younger and smaller than the other reindeers there. They all had proud, tall antlers. Rudolph's antlers were only tiny shrubs. Worst of all, Rudolph had a nose that was big and bright red. It was so red it glowed in the dark. Poor Rudolph. He wanted to be like the other reindeer in Toyland. Oh, to have a small brown nose instead of a big red one. The other reindeers made fun of Rudolph and called him names. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They teased over and over again until tears glistened on Rudolph's large red nose. Some of the other reindeers made circle around Rudolph and sang, red nose, a funny sight, big as an apple and twice as bright. They kicked snowballs with their tiny hooves that covered Rudolph with a blanket of white fluffy snow. All the reindeer loved to play games. They played tree tag, snow slide, and tumble bones. But Rudolph was never asked to play. He stood behind the pine tree and watched. He was very lonely. Rudolph couldn't even play hide and seek with the rabbits. His glowing red nose gave him away every time. Before Christmas Eve, Santa's elves posted a sign on the gate to Toyland. Santa's team choosing time, the sign said. All the reindeers were asked to line up at 8 o'clock in the meadow. Santa Claus was coming to choose the team he would deliver the presents to every good little boy and girl in the world. The reindeer finally danced with excitement when they heard the news. They pranced and tossed their antlers and pawed the snow ground with their hooves. Each reindeer hoped he would be chosen to guide Santa's sleigh. It was the greatest honor a reindeer could ever have. Rudolph sighed. He was ashamed to have Santa see his bright red nose, so he decided to hide. At 8 o'clock, when all the other reindeers had gone into the meadow, Rudolph hid in the toy pirate chest that the elves had built. It had a heavy wooden lid and big brass hinges. No one would ever find him there. In the meadow, all the reindeers in Toyland, except for Rudolph, stood in line while Santa inspected them. Santa chose carefully. Only the fastest, the strongest, and the best reindeer would do. I think Dasher will be fine. He's the biggest reindeer, said Santa. Dasher wrote the elf assistant in the big book. And Dancer is the strongest, said Santa, pulling his beard. Dancer, wrote the elf. Oh, let's see, continued Santa. Here's Prancer and here's Vixen. They make the smoothest landings on rooftops. Comet is the fastest and Cupid is the most sure-footed, said Santa. I'll pick them. At last, said Santa, I choose Donner and Blitzen. They had the twisting over treetops and skimming over telephone poles. The reindeer and Santa's team were happy. They rubbed noses. They danced and clicked their antlers together. Even the reindeer who weren't chosen were given good jobs. One was trying out an electric train. Another was to cuddle Christmas kittens. The only reindeer without a job was Rudolph. He wanted to help, but he knew he would be laughed at, so he stayed hidden in the toy pirate box. At last it was Christmas Eve. Santa and his elves were busy packing the sleigh. "I don't care if they do make fun of me," said Rudolph suddenly. "I want to help too." He jumped out of his box. "I'll bring Santa's team a pail of nice cool water," he decided. "They'll get thirsty on their long journey." The night was bitter cold, and the fog covered all of the earth. Santa's elves kept bumping into each other as they hitched up the team. They could hardly see, as they all put on bright red harnesses and tied on jingle bells. To make matters worse, Dasher and Dancer were fighting over who would be reindeer leader. "I was chosen first," said Dasher, stamping angrily. "But you always trip over the moon," said Dancer, kicking the falling star. Even Santa was cross. "We'll never get out of here if you two don't stop arguing," he said. "And where is my Christmas list? I can't see a darn thing in this fog." Just then a soft red glow lit up the snow. "Thank goodness," said Santa, jolly again. "I found my list. Ho, ho, I must have tucked it in my belt." "Who brought this fine lantern?" said Santa. "I must take it with me. Why, I could see perfectly now." "It's not a lantern," said Rudolph, trembling. "The light comes from my nose." "Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer," said Santa, "I'm certainly glad to see you. Your light will help guide my sleigh tonight. I appoint you head of my team and #1 reindeer in the world." Rudolph held his head high. Proudly he pranced to the front of the team. All the other reindeers bowed. Donner and Dancer helped Rudolph put on his harness, and Cupid gave him a beautiful sprig of holly berries. Then down, down through the clouds and over the sleeping houses, Santa and his team flew on that foggy Christmas Eve, and leader of the whole procession was Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. So if you see a soft glow in the sky on Christmas Eve, you can be sure that Rudolph, the most famous reindeer of all, is very near.